Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're looking at a seasonal starter guide for the Wizard. I do think this is going to be the most popular class in Season 23 because we've got very juicy Firebirds buff to play with. Unfortunately, we don't get that as the starting set, but don't worry, we'll go through everything. This is a 0 to hero guide. We will take you from level 1 all the way up to 70, get you 6-piece bonus, and kind of get you pointing towards endgame. Cover T16s, bounties, GR100 clear, all that good stuff. It is all time stamped and there are build links in the description. Before we do get going though, anybody who is new to the channel, please do subscribe. And as always, a thumbs up brightens my day. So first things we need to do is we need to make a seasonal character. Now season starts on the 2nd of April, which is this Friday, so super pumped. You need to save your challenge rift, obviously, until after you've made your character. So you just need to come to the screen, make a new one. If you put something witty in the title, like won't miss rats, then what you can do is get an extra 10% DPS straight out the gate. So make sure you get something funny in here for that extra damage. Now when you come through, you're going to normally do your challenge rift. I would load through the character into adventure mode first and then come back and do the challenge rift. Now obviously I don't want to do it because I don't want to brick my season, but I do have a challenge rift bag waiting. So in theory you do this. If you're ever struggling in a season, you can always jump in to a public game, and it's much easier to do it in 4-player than it is solo. But this time we do have a pretty easy challenge rift. So you would then claim this bag, which is normally down here in this bottom corner, and inside it's got some really nice stuff for us. We've got crafting mats for extracting stuff. We've got some veiled crystals, arcane dust, which is great for crafting things, blood shards to spend, DBs to spend, some gold, which is not to be overlooked. It's very useful, and yeah, we can basically use this to power up our character. Now what I would do first is just have a quick check. Right, Magda is a bounty for this particular character, so what I would do is I would come and hire a Templar. Now you can do the douche move, you can certainly steal his weapon, by all means you can do that. I tend to just buy something off this guy because I just think it's a little less douchey, but as you can see, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. Sometimes you load in this is better, but that's totally up to you. But you may as well grab these other things. They normally roll with life per second on, which is really useful in the game because you can find yourself leveling up to like level 3 or 4, and you know, the game just gets harder as you level. So what I would do next is I would go and kill Magda. If she spawns, or Zoltan Cool, either of those two I'd go do it. Anybody else I'd forget it, I wouldn't bother making a new game. When you go kill them, you will get another baggie of stuff, so I guess we'll go do that, and yeah, I'll just fast forward it guys, so we'll be there in a sec. There we go, we've killed Magda, we get this Diabolic Horde. It's generally got some yellow items in for us, so I do think it is still worth doing. It doesn't take too long. Cool is better, but obviously we can then put these bits on, and it just improves our character a little bit for the next thing, which is going to get the cube. So again, we'll fast forward, let's go get Kanai's cube. We're looking for the Elder Sanctum guys, this is it. We just need to go find the cube on this particular level. So guys, we've obviously leveled a little bit as we've been going. We've managed to get a cursed chest, so I think we may as well stop and do it. Just for the XP, because the mask of bonuses are really great for leveling. So let's hope we don't die. Sometimes guys there's a bug and you can't collect the cube. I don't really know why, but you just need to go back out and come back in. And that's Kanai's cube, so let's go back to town and we're going to put on a pet and some wings because I always forget to do that. And after that we're going to spend the goodies, so I'll show you what to do. Now with the contents of the challenge rift bag, we can obviously rank up our artisans to max level, so that is Hadrig. You can also rank up the jeweler if you want, but the other one we're going to need to rank up is Miriam, so they're the main two. Now this will allow us to craft a level 70 weapon, which we're going to go for a wand, and we're basically just going to stuff it in the cube. Now when you do this, just check it very quickly, make sure it hasn't dropped with crazy level reduction on it. So this hasn't on the secondaries, so we just basically go to the cube and upgrade it. Now there are 10 wands in the pool. I'd say 4 of them are good, 2 of them are okay, and 4 of them are complete trash. That is a pretty good one, and it's ancient as well. Now Some people do say you can keep the ancient ones and re-roll the secondary. My experience is that's really hard to do because you need mats to do it. So I would probably just extract this, even though it is ancient and it feels a little bad. I would stuff this in a cube. It's the Wand of Woe and it buffs Explosive Blast. But let's have a look at the other options and we'll walk you through them. So for Wizard, as we say, we've got 10 wands. Aether Walker is okay, I'd say. You get some teleport. Not amazing, you get no damage. Blackhand Key is a complete brick. It does nothing. It's got no special power. Enchantodo's Will is also a brick. You're not going to use this with Tal Rasha. You're not going to be able to use it whilst leveling at all. Fragment of Destiny is nice. This will buff up Hydra. This is probably one of the best ones you can get. Gesture of Orpheus. I'd say this is pretty much a brick. Who cares about reducing slow time cooldown? Sure, you can use it if you want, but I think it's a bit crap. Serpent Sparker again buffs Hydra. There's a lot of Hydra love going on in these ones. This again is one of the better ones you can get. Slowrack's Madness, terrible. This one finds your death humorous. I find this wand humorous. Blizz, please buff it. Starfire is probably okay. Lightning damage is increased up to 15% for every 10 yards. So again, restricted to lightning skills. Not a massive amount of damage, but it's better than nothing. Unstable Scepter is probably god tier. Arcane Orb buffing, this is just brilliant. This is the one you really want. And Wand of Woe, as we did get, buffs Explosive Blast. So the good ones are this, Unstable Scepter, Starfire I'd say is fairly decent, but Serpent Sparker and also the Fragment of Destiny, they're the 4 ones that I'd say good. Starfire is okay, Aether Walker is okay, and then obviously we've gone over the crap ones. Now we do also get some blood shards to spend. Now there's not a terribly huge amount in the loot pool for wizards at level 1. Normally you're looking to get damage whilst leveling. You don't really, if you're on softcore, you don't really care about dying. We also get the cheat death very early with the follower rework on 2.7. But you could go for blood braces. They're probably one of the better items to pick. I would probably leave that and come back and get it later. Elioric's Crown is a decent item to roll for. You can double the value of the gem and the helm. This is very important for XP. Winter Flurry you can get. This does give you some damage. Again, if you've got one of those Hydra ones, then it may well be worthwhile going for this because you will be able to pair that with this and get some even more damage. The downside is you have to use Blizzard, and we don't get that skill till much later in the game, so not the most amazing time of blood shards. Poxfolds are always a good shout. Bloodshed has just done a guide on how to level with these, so again that's something that you could consider. Now you can hang on to your shards until later and basically spend them on offhands because there are a couple in the pool. Where are we? Source. Alphabet is hard. You might get the Etch Sigil. This will buff up Twisters, and you might still hit Winter Flurry and get your Hydras buffed. So you can certainly do that, or you could just save them. That's totally up to you, and just use them as you go. Now, the biggest tip for leveling always is making a two-handed weapon. So I would go for a mace because I think it's got a higher damage range. We're going to craft one of these and we're going to hope that it has got some form of crowd control on the secondary. Now we've got really lucky here. We've got one with 20 reduced level requirement. That's not bad. I probably would keep that. We'll make another one just to show you for the video. That's probably about okay. 20 is kind of where I say my limit is, but this is much more likely what you're going to get here. So secondary monsters grant plus 124 experience with a 3.8% chance to knock back. You need that CC so that you can re-roll the other secondary. This one's actually perfect because it's also got life per hit. So when we take it over to our artisan, the mystic who we've leveled, we can then roll for reduced level requirement. As I say, anything kind of 20 levels or above I'd be looking to take. Now this does get quite expensive, so you have to balance your resources quite carefully because you probably want to craft some two-handed weapons for leveling as well. So I'd have a good few goes at this, trying to see if I could get it above 20. Some people, oh look, there we go, rip season 26. That'd be perfect. So we go stick that in the stash, and that'll be there for later. I wouldn't really craft multiple ones of these if I could avoid it, just simply because it does get quite expensive on the veiled crystals, but that would go, they could stay in the stash, and that is a huge damage increase and huge toughness increase when we do get to what level, 44. So we've only got to get 44 and we can crank the game up to something like Torment 6 for a bit and watch the XP rain. So we also need to extract this wand. So again, I'll show you how to do that, the Wand of Woe, but I've already extracted it, but you would put it in here. Click fill. You'll only be able to do this once and once only during your leveling process, and then it is gone forever. You then just need to make sure you click it and activate it in here. I have done that in the past where I've forgotten to put it on for a little bit, which is silly. So that reminds me, speaking of forgetting things, we also need to make sure that we stick on our cosmetics, so our wings, because we want to look, we want to look the bomb, don't we? And we need a pet to pick stuff up for us. So yeah, make sure you don't forget to do that. Don't be like me, guys, be better. The next best tip I've got for leveling is to make sure that you get red gems and put them in your helm for XP and in your weapon for damage. I also say it's a good idea to upgrade this guy here, the artisan who does the gems, because what you'll find is you'll get all these rubbish low level gems early on, particularly if you find a gem goblin or something like that. And what you can do is you can combine them, so you can just keep ramping these up. So all these difficulties, we don't have all these levels of gems, we don't have any obviously, but you can keep combining them. I would stick the best one I have in my helm for the XP and my second best one in my weapon for damage. And that's pretty much it. So that and the two-handed level trick for the weapon, definitely the best two things you can do for leveling. Now, other than that, in terms of getting to 70, obviously it's a dynamic process. I would build around whatever the game drops you. There's loads of cool items that you can get. Once you do get to 70, you're going to start doing your season journey. You're going to collect Tal pieces. Now, the 2-piece bonus for Tal Rasha is not very good. You get a meteor that falls from the sky every 8 seconds when you use different element skills. The whole set revolves around elements. This doesn't do much damage. It's a bit naff. It's one of the worst 2 pieces in the game. The 4-piece also isn't brilliant. You get up to 100% extra resistances. That's not as much damage reduction as it sounds. Again, it probably scales better into late game. And then 6-piece bonus, we get 2000% damage every time we use a different element. Once we get up to the 4 stacks, we only have to cast 2 elements, so you only have to cycle between 2. And the good news is it's an 8k flat damage modifier, so it works with whatever you found along the way, which is pretty nice. Now, it begs the question, doing your GR20, do you want to use the 2 and 4-piece tals? I possibly wouldn't. You will probably find a Legacy of Dreams gem. You've only got to do 1 or 2 rifts to get that. That'll give you a multiplier, and again, you can build off anything with that. But even if you do want to do your GR20 with 4-piece tals, it's not a problem. There's so many multipliers in the game now. GR20 just isn't what it used to be. It's not very hard at all. But overall, I'd say Tal Rasha is worthwhile getting because it is just a pretty good set. It's a jack of all trades. It doesn't really specialize in anything. My favorite build is Arcane Orb with it, so Unstable Scepter and Triumvirate, and this is kind of something I'd be looking to put together early on. Now, one thing you can always do as a level 70 character is make another new level 1 character and come back and get stuff out the loot pool. Now, as we've covered, there's not too much here. A Squirts is an okay pickup if you wanted, but rolling for amulets is generally never very good, so this will be quite expensive. But let's say you were stuck on it, you could come back and get it. Gold wrap for the cube is always nice. If you get yourself a puzzle ring nice and early, then you can come and get one of these and stick it in a cube. Blood Brace is probably the best item that you can pick up. These give you a shield, which is always going to be useful for a bit of sustainability and a bit of defense. Leorix, again, very easy to put in a cube, can be kind of nice for either resource cost reduction or cooldown at level 70, which is pretty good. Homing pads, now these emanate, so you could just get a pair of these and give them to your follower if you wanted the emanation power early on. Winter Flurry, as we said, let's say you found yourself a couple of Hydra bits, you didn't have this, make a level 1 character, come back, get it, stuff it in the cube. I probably wouldn't roll for Unstable Scepter. It's tempting because there's only 2 ones, but it's in there with all the other one-handed items, so it's still not worth it in my opinion. But that's what you've got if you want to come back. And also, you can forge yourself a few things. So Reaper's Wraps is available. You just have to go kill Malthael on any difficulty to get these plans. Super easy. You can do it on normal. And then obviously you've also got Sage's set, which will emanate. So again, you need some bounty mats for this, which we get out of the Hadrigs, not Hadrigs, the Challenge Rift Cache. And you can give these to your follower. Again, these emanate, so that's double DBs the whole way. So I would be looking to get these on my follower ASAP, if not my character. But just remember, if you put them on your toon, it's going to deactivate the Legacy of Dreams bonus if you're using that, rather than say Tals to do your GR20. Now, at 70, starting to put Tal Rasha together, you'll note Wizard's loot pool is pretty open. It's not like Necromancer where there's terribly really tight things. The tightest thing you've probably got is daggers, so a wizard spike. Performing an attack grants you an arcane orb. This is pretty easy, there's only 3 daggers, so that's a good upgrade. You get good value out of that. The ones we covered earlier aren't brilliant, and then, you know, there's tons of rings in the pool. None of the shields do anything. I'd say probably shards on a source, again with a view to either setting up explosive blasts, looking for the orb of infinite depth, which gives us damage and also a huge damage reduction, so this is a nice one to get. Or looking to, you know, pair other things like the triumvirate and the unstable scepter, or maybe some of the hydra items together. But other than that, there's nothing really terribly easy to pick up for Tals. Even two-handed staffs, if you want to just start trying to do energy twisters, it's still pretty hard to put together. Now the good news about Tal Rasha is it's a GR100 viable set pretty easily. We've got no main stat paragon in this, so it is about 10k int. Obviously I've got nice pieces because this is my off-season stuff. I don't keep, you know, jank stuff basically. But yeah, we'll do GR100 absolutely no problem. This is an arcane orb build. I will put a D3 planner link if you want to see it. We've also done a guide on T16 for Tals. There's a couple of ways you can do that. Tals will also do bounties early on, no problem. I would build Firebirds. I'll do a dedicated Firebirds and Wizard video coming soon. But this is basically Wizard Spike, which as we say is pretty easy to get. So Arcane Orb here, Arcane Orb on the Unstable Scepter, Arcane Orb on Triumvirate. Gonna need to do some bounties. A Crimson's is great for Arcane Orb because it is thirsty. More damage reduction. Or guilds, so we hit those elites, you know, even harder. We've got a convention of elements for massive cold damage. A Karini to help keep us alive at 80% damage reduction, a Trapped, a Zais, and a Stricken. Again, Stricken you probably don't need, you could probably do a powerful. Rogue and a Cube to make up the bonuses, and Leorix with a Topaz, again just trying to keep us fairly tanky. Arcane Orb on your helm, Arcane Orb on your shoes. These are the skills and passives if you want to have a look. Arcane Frozen Orb, Electrocute Surge of Power, Magic Missile Conflagrate just for fire, so lightning, cold, fire. Teleport Calamity deals the arcane, which is great. Power of the Storm, gone for Storm Armor just to keep up the arcane power for us. Magic Weapon, Force Weapon, we hit 20% harder, lovely jubbly. Evocation, 20% cooldown. Power Hungry, we want to kind of stay at range. We're a little squishy with only 10k main stat in GR100, so we might take a death or two. Elemental Exposure, this is basically built for Tals. You know, we use these different elements and we stack up more damage. And then Astral Presence, again, just to keep us topped up with arcane power. Cheat Death we don't have because the Follower has got that now. Follower is kitted out with just under 25k main stat. Realistically, this is T16 stuff. The only thing you need is Flavor of Time, Nems, and an Oculus. There may well be some end game stuff we can do with the Follower, but they're the main things. So let's jump in. I'll probably just do a little bit of this rift, and then we'll cut to the end just to see how long it takes. So when we jump in, pop our bonuses, D and A, we're then going to make sure that we try and stay the hell away from stuff. Jump in Oculuses when they spawn. And the main goal really is to keep our Tal stacks at 4. Which, why are they not going at 4? Why is it not going to 4? Tal stacks, hello. And I'm getting squished because I'm looking at this. Why is the Tal stacks not going up? They should be at 4. There we go, 4. Maybe I was looking at the Triumvirate stacks. So Triumvirate stacks are at 3, Tals are at 4. Now once you get your Tals up to 4, you only need to left click, right click, and then that's it. Obviously not amazing mobs, because as I say, we're a little squishy at GR100, but we're already ahead of the timer, and that's with fannying about taking a death. So every left click, we refresh the Triumvirate stacks. Every right click, we refresh the Tal. So left and right, both do the Tal stacks. And other than that, tons of damage on cold. We don't need to time the convention at GR100, no problem. And this is the major damage reduction, which is Storm Armor. And if that drops off, yeah, you'll absolutely know about it. You can take Cheat Death. You know, we're pretty pumped on the arcane power, so you can take the Astral Presence off for sure. That will give you another layer of Cheat Death. But I don't know, GR100, I think, with 10k main stat is pretty good. It is good gear, but you know, You'll have more main stat than 10k probably. But I mean, at the end of the day, you probably won't be playing this anyway. Firebird is going to be much, much better. This is just an example to show that Tal's is pretty strong. It'll do your carry, you know, to the end game for you as a solo player. You don't have to get Firebirds ASAP, albeit obviously that will help. But yeah, this is Tal's Frozen Orb. We'll skip to the boss. Hopefully we don't die too many times. And yeah, I'll see you in a minute. There we go, guys. GR100 in about 5 minutes. Oh, Pog Primal Gloves. Nice. Oh, some Typhon Veils. Should we look at these now? I've never got a Primal doing a video. That's got to be worth a thumbs up if anybody's still here. Crit chance, area damage, main stat. Not the best, but I guess we'll take it. But yeah, that is Tal's. It can do GR100, absolutely no problem. Obviously, you'd try and improve this. You could put some armor gems in if you wanted to, a bit more toughness. Otherwise, just get better than me, you know, stay at range. But yeah, GR100 5 minutes. Tal's is a good gateway into the end game. As I say, we'll be doing a dedicated Firebirds video. I probably wouldn't use this set long term for anything. I think Firebirds is going to be better for bounties, T16, GR speeds, and push. But as I say, you work with what you get. So that is Tal Rasha. That is the starting guide for the wizard. Any questions, stick them in the comments. All the planner links will be there. Wish you all the best for opening weekend on season 23. Can't wait for it. Let's go. Take it easy. Peace.